Alright, my dudes, what's going on? Hope everybody's doing good out there today. So, another quick little video here for you guys. This one is, this is aimed more so at the newer guys for sure. Anybody else who's been in this for a while should already know all of these things, but nonetheless, here's the video. So what are some of the things I want to talk about today? So I want to tell you guys some things that you should really consider upgrading the moment you get your bike built or you buy it from somebody, whatever you do. These are the things that you need to get done right off the bat, right? So first and foremost, one of the most important things I think guys should change out the moment they get their kits is that piece of junk rag joint that they send, I can't talk today, that they send with the stock kits, for, the little rubber donuts with the metal 2 to 3 metal plates that you sandwich over the bike's rear wheel spokes to mount the drive sprocket. Yeah, spokes not designed to have torque on them like that. They're meant to take stresses coming up and down, not twisting torque on the spoke itself. That's a great way to rip spokes out or bend them, whatever. I've seen many rims on my bikes and other people's bikes get ruined because of those stupid ass things. So what's the solve for that? Boom. This guy right here. Focus. Yeah. These little CNC hub adapters. This is a CDH one for an 1.5" hub. Get another thing that you should definitely have, and there's no excuse when you can get super cheap ones like this. Get yourself a little set of calipers. These are some 6-inch calipers. Focus you. Oh yeah, we're using manual focus. Let me focus in on my hive covered face here. Yeah, anyway, so you want to get yourself a set of calipers. These things are crucial. Takes the guesswork out of things. If you can't properly measure your components, how are you supposed to upgrade and maintain them, right? Measure your rear hub width, and then find out what you need to get, which size you need to get in order to fit on there. And then you'll need to get different sprockets sometimes too. A lot of the kits now, they have the mounting holes. They have the 9-hole, the 6-hole for mounting on a disc rotor mount, or they have the 3-hole mount for the sprocket, the hub adapters like this. Get yourself one of these. You can get them for like $20. Trust me, it'll save you a rim. And then when you're putting that together, get yourself some of this. Loctite 243. This one specifically, this is their formula that's more forgiving when it comes to oil contamination and that sort of thing. So you don't have to be wiping bolts down every time you want to put some thread lock on there. Yeah, get some of that. Or some of these, some M6 ribbed conical lock washers. Not those nonsense split lock washers. Those things are garbage. I don't know why we still use them. They're useless. All they do is gouge up whatever surface they're going onto, and they don't hold at all. At least not against vibrations, that's for sure. Another optional upgrade here, your fuel line. Because the fuel line that comes with those kits is usually pretty terrible, right? This stuff, this is called Tygon. Tygon. I'll put links for all this stuff down in the description for you guys too, just so it's there for you. This stuff is excellent. First of all, you can see through it, so you can see that your fuel is flowing. And this Tygon material, it doesn't harden, it doesn't crack, it never dry rots, none of that stuff. Whereas the fuel line that comes with those kits, over the period of a few months, that 1/4-inch hole will harden down to a little pinhole where you'll be able to get nothing but a little piss trickle through there. Then get rid of that piece of junk stock spark plug. Get yourself some NGK plugs. These things are the gold standard. They're not expensive, and they're far and above better than what comes with the engines. This is a BR8S. The R stands for resistor. I was using resistor plugs because I was using a fancy speedometer, tachometer gauge and everything, and the non-resistor plugs interfered with the reading. But you want to go for B6 through B8HS. Don't get the protruding spark plugs, because then you might run into issues with it contacting the piston. And of course, you have your stock CDI boxes here, right? Now, this is one, I upgraded it. I put some NGK cable on there. These things are okay. They're just good enough to make the bike run. The timing on them is garbage. They don't have a timing curve, and they're not good. If you want a decent option that's readily available on the market, get yourself one of these. These are called the Supercharge CDI, and they have a decent ignition curve and everything, but you can see you have a separate CDI box here and a separate ignition coil, whereas, where did it go? These little pieces of junk have all of this situated in this one little box here. So just to give you an idea of the quality. These things, the Supercharge, these are a very respectable CDI. There's guys running these on custom billet hybrid motors and stuff. They're good. They're reliable too. Get rid of that chain that came with the kit, and get yourself some good 415H nickel plated. The 415H it's I think 15 or 1700 pounds tensile strength higher rating than regular 415 chain. It's about 3700 pounds tensile strength, so it's strong chain, and this stuff is nickel plated and pre-stretched. I've run this on all of my bikes, and I have had zero issues with it whatsoever. I've never had it break, nothing. Then, what I definitely recommend is, guys, you get rid of your chain tensioners. Those things, not only are you risking having that thing pull into your wheel and snap spokes and get you in an accident or something, but they add a lot of drag to your system. It's a lot of added resistance to get that chain to serpentine up and around that, especially you guys that have them bumped like almost right up against the rear sprocket. So here's your rear sprocket. The chain comes off, and then it has to go right up over a tensioner, back down. No, get rid of that thing. Get yourself some half links. I'll put links in the description for all this stuff. These guys right here allow you to make a half space movement, really, with your chain to get the perfect tension without having to use a tensioner or anything. Your intake. The stock intakes, especially with the setup on these stock carbs, this little intake on them here, it's real bad. Like, it's a piss poor design. So what you want to do is get yourself, see that? These have an O-ring on them right here. And what that does, focus, you fuck. All right, yeah. But that O-ring, what that allows you is a much, much better seal when it goes into the carb. That way that O-ring is the thing that's really doing the sealing, and then when you clamp this down over it, that's just holding it on the intake. It's not actually doing the sealing as well. And these, you can get these little CNC'd intakes dirt cheap. They have the 40mm intake and 32. These are slotted, so they'll work for either or. Again, very, very, very worthwhile upgrade. So, of course, another upgrade when you're looking at beefing your bike up. Things are getting quicker. They're also getting hotter, right? So you have your piece of junk stock cast aluminum cylinder head here, right? These things are pretty abysmal, though better than some of the CNC options on the market somehow, some way. So I'm going to show you what's probably the cheapest decent option out there. Sometimes they go for a little more, sometimes they go for a little bit less, but right here on Amazon, CDH Power, they have these new performance heads. What they are is a copy of the Bicycle Motor Works billet head. It's cast aluminum, but it's got better cooling properties than the stock head. And the chamber, it's alright. You know, it's alright. Then moving up, you have things like this. You have their polygon type head. They also have some pretty decent square heads. Let me try and find one of them for you. Yeah, there we go. These heads right here from CDH are probably the best that they offer. They look pretty badass too. These are copies of the Jake head, which, believe it or not, I only found this out not too long ago myself. Jake frickin' Busey designed these heads. You know Harry Busey, the nutcase fucking actor? Yeah, his brother, Jake Busey, was into racing motorized bicycles. He raced at like the SoCal races and shit. Of course, somebody gave the design to China and they ripped it off and he couldn't keep up with it. They put him out of business, which is disgusting, really, but yeah, nonetheless, there it is. It's a good option for you. Now, what's the ultimate numero uno option available for you right now? This beauty right here. From none other than Ethan Smolik at Smolik Performance. Ethan's a great dude, but what this is this is a custom designed, CNC milled, in-house head. It took some design cues from a few different engines, two-stroke engines across the globe, but you could see by the fin pattern here that it directs the air actually towards the combustion chamber. It's a great design. And check this out. You see this little groove in here? No more stupid, aluminum or copper head gaskets. You get to use a proper O-ring head here. I'm having one of these made up for my latest build, the AV10. Just barely was able to make it work with an O-ring, but oh man. Beauteous. You have different stud patterns, layouts here. You can get it for the YD100 pattern. You can get 8mm, 6mm, or you could do like I'm doing, having a custom one made up. You just got to get in touch with them, tell him exactly what you need, and he'll do it for you. These guys are fantastic. So yeah, that's enough about the heads. Moving on. Now, things to avoid. I see this piece of junk going around still, this stupid header export thing, whatever they call it. Guys, look at the shape of that port, right? Most ports, 90% of the exhaust ports on the cylinders being sold now are round. Do you see an issue with that? That's not conducive to good flow. Going from a circle to a square port like this, these things are garbage. Nothing but a gimmick. Same for these bad boys right here, the stupid ass boost bottles. They still sell these intakes that are drilled and tapped to put the barb in and everything. Guys, our motors, especially those guys that are even going to look at this and buy it, and you're running a stock kit, our motors are nowhere freaking near well refined enough to be screwing around with some dumb shit like this. All these things are meant to do in the best scenario possible, ideal circumstances. They are meant to be of a tuned volume chamber with a tuned length and diameter tube to let this thing try and smooth out the revs at a very specific point in your throttle range. These things are come off scooters and dirt bikes and stuff. They are used in that world. But we have no... most people that run these bikes don't even have them jetted correctly, let alone tuned to a point where they could have any kind of benefit from a boost bottle. So this... garbage. Don't waste your money there, pal. Another thing I definitely recommend people pick up. Get yourself one of these little cheap tachometer hour meters off eBay. You can get them for like 10 bucks, 15 bucks sometimes if you want the one with the backlight. I think it's like 15 or 20 bucks. You just take this, take your lead here, and what you do, where's that stupid piece of junk CDI? Here we go. Yeah, you just take this lead, put it over your plug wire, wrap it around 3-4 times, and then what it does is it counts the pulses going through that line, and in turn tells you what your RPMs are. Of course, you have to tell it what it is, single cylinder, blah, 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 you know, 2-stroke, 4-stroke. And yeah, that's a real simple thing. They also sell these that act as thermometers too. So that's a good thing for when you're trying to jet and dial in your motor and everything. Get yourself a tachometer. Few little odds and ends here. They used to sell these. I don't know if they're still as widely available as they were. I haven't bought this kind of stuff in a long time because I don't play with the stock kits anymore. I've been playing with the saws and the hybrid scooter engines and all that. But anyway, if you could find it, these as well, these brass exhaust gaskets, these things were fantastic. Just reusable, perfect seal every time. Same with the copper head gaskets. You can get them in a couple different thicknesses, like 0.3, 0.4, 0.6 millimeter, that sort of thing. These were great because they were reusable over and over and over again. So if you could get these, I definitely recommend you do that. When it comes to trying to eke some more power out of the motor, I know there's plenty of you guys out there that are going to be getting into them and porting them and everything, so pick yourself up a nice little set. You can get a cheap set of these Carbide double cut burrs here. For aluminum, you really should be using single cut, but it's not going to make or break the project. When you are assembling these engines, it's always good to check your squish gap, and what that is when you have your motor assembled, the squish gap is right in here in your cylinder head. On the outside, there should be a squish band, but what that squish band is the amount of room that you have at top dead center between the squish band on your piston and the cylinder head. And what you do is you just pop your spark plug out of the cylinder head, take yourself some 1.5 millimeter to 2 millimeter rosin core solder, so it's real soft solder and it squishes easily. And what you do is you just put that in your spark plug hole. Usually, you bend it a little bit so that you know it's going to be in the right area, and then you can feel it out. You'll feel when it hits the wall. And what you do is you just turn your motor one rotation so that when the piston comes up, it squishes that solder, and it'll tell you afterwards what your squish clearance is. Generally, you want around 0.7, 0.8 millimeters for these engines. That's generally a good, safe place to go. You can go as low as 0.6, but you're running the risk of cylinder or piston contacting the head, or just bumping your compression up way too much. Got a classic, just the old NT speed carb here. Show you guys just real quick the anatomy of the carb. You have your choke lever here, off, choke on. Take your cap off. You have your slide return spring there. And then, of course, you have your slide and your needle with the clip on it, and this is what meters your gas flow from about 1/4 to 3/4 throttle. Once you get past 3/4 throttle, let me pop this open real quick for you. So here's your bowl, and here's your float. That's what rises up and shuts off the fuel flow coming from your gas tank. So you pull your throttle, and your slide goes up, right at about 3/4 throttles here. You're no longer being metered by your needle and are instead getting direct flow from your main jet here on the bottom. So that is the only thing that's metering your flow at that point. Right, so now let's talk about something which will be of debate, has been debated heavily, and will always be debated heavily. And that is, which motor oil should you run in your 2-stroke? Which one's good? Which one's bad? I don't know. Yeah, these are my favorites right here. AMSOIL Dominator 2-stroke racing oil. Fan-freaking-tastic. Don't listen to anybody that tells you that it'll let your shit rust or anything like that. It doesn't. It's got plenty of rust inhibitors in it. They're just hating. And this is my numero uno right here, the Motul 2T 800 Road Racing. It's an ester cord 100% synthetic 2-stroke racing oil. This stuff is fantastic. You want to feed your motor the best you can? Get some of this stuff. It's good. It's well worth the couple extra bucks. Trust me. For how little gasoline and how little oil we have to give these bikes, give it the good stuff. You know what I mean? Don't go running junk dollar store oil through it and then wonder why the cylinder walls are all beat up and it's burned up already. It's because you're running in at like 50 to 1. I know a lot of guys say they have great luck at 50 to 1. I've never had good luck with 50 to 1. But I also haven't run 50 to 1 since I stopped using, you know, these cheap stock China kits. And the chrome lining in these things is pretty awful. I'm sure any of you guys who have used these motors, like really used them and run them hard, beat them up a little bit, yeah, the chrome lining in those cylinders just flakes off like it's fucking, it gets its job. It's pathetic. Yeah, alright guys, I could keep going on and on and on here, but I'm gonna wrap this one up here. Just some quick, short, to the point information for you, right? Again, I'm always waiting for you down in the comments. Any questions you guys have, fire them my way and I'll answer them for you. If it's something more in-depth or something that seems worthwhile, a lot of you guys are asking about it, I'll make another video about it too. I like doing this stuff. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully this helps you out. Like I said, the links for all this stuff will be down in the description below, so feel free to pick that up. None of this, you know, there's no affiliate links or anything like that. I don't make any money from this stuff. It's just there for you guys to make it a little easier on you. So, as always, I appreciate you guys. Stay cool, stay healthy, ride safe out there. Yeah, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.